So Kansas has always been a dream of mine to go out and hunt Kansas whitetail. You know, I gotta be honest, I didn't know what to expect. Just to get some perspective and see what else is out there, I think Kansas was one of the places I've always really wanted to go to. I talked to Tommy Hibbert about it, and talked to a few other buddies about heading out and making a week of it. So we got things rolling, and we went online and looked at some outfitters, and we ended up talking to Steffen from Steffen Ranch. And you know, the price was right, the timing was right, and the fact that, you know, we were going to be one of 4 of 10 bow hunters total for the season going in. It was a perfect match. So after talking to Jay and getting things settled, we rolled into the Rut and Strut Lodge and met up with Brandon Hendricks, the owner there. And what a cool facility. You know, it hosts about 15 people. You know, we got in, we got set up, we got things unpacked, and Jay was gracious enough to let us get out one night earlier than what our scheduled hunt was supposed to be.
This area, the Steffen Ranch here in Kansas. It's in Cunningham, Kansas. It's a very exclusive piece of property. Only about 10 hunters per year get to come in here and bow hunt. The bucks are on lockdown some, but they're going from doe to doe. So this is actually one of the best times to be in the woods. And we're in one of the best states in the country to hunt whitetail. This is Kansas, baby. Tombob Outdoors, friends of wild places. Stay tuned. First evening hunt in Kansas was pretty good. We had one shooter about 300 yards away, and then we had a 2-year-old cruiser and had 5 doe in here, and then a little spike came in, but pretty good evening, can't complain. Stay tuned, you watch Tombob Outdoors, friends of wild places, and we're coming to you from Kansas.
Well, we're primarily a cattle ranch. We grow a little grain, some hay, and the deer kind of come along with all that. I've hunted quite a bit myself over the years and been lucky to take some good bucks, and just got more than I know what to do with. So started a relationship with the Rut and Strut Lodge, and I think we've got a pretty good setup going here. I'll watch these deer most of the year, and looking at some of the footage, I see a lot of bucks I'm familiar with, but there's always new ones show up this time of year, and they're big ones that show up that you've never seen before. But yeah, it's this time of year you just don't know. Yeah, I don't like to get too crowded at any one time. That way, I can offer 2 guys at a time a pretty good hunt, you know, and handle groups of up to 4. But with 2 guys, you know, you've got a lot of options, and have a lot more of my time anyway.
40 yards. How far? 40 yards. 40.
Well, the one good thing about going to Kansas and going with a bunch of friends of yours, when they bag a buck, they can run the camera. That's what happened with Bobby Spangler. He bagged a nice 3-year-old 8-point on the second night we were there. So he was nice enough to get in the tree with me and film on our 3rd day.
I'm in a ladder stand.
just really doesn't give me a lot of opportunity to move around much. So I'm fortunate enough to have old friend Bobby Spangler behind the camera. He scored on a nice 3-year-old 8-pointer the first night we were here. Well, Steffen from the Steffen Ranch has put Bob Spangler and I on some deer this morning. We've seen 7 or 8 different bucks, a couple of big shooters, and I just missed on one. The wind gusted right as I let go, and it just took that arrow and took off. The bigger one came out first with the doe. He was out of range. Winds have kind of died down a little bit right now, but boy, there when those deer come out, they were gusty. It had to be over 20-25 miles an hour. So we're gonna sit here for a while. It's been non-stop action since daylight, and folks, they got big bucks here. If you want to come on a whitetail hunt, that is guaranteed to for you to see big deer and get an opportunity to kill a buck of a lifetime. You want to come here to the Steffen Ranch in Kansas. At the end of the show, we'll put up Jay's telephone number, and you can also catch his website, or not website, I guess his Facebook page of the Steffen Ranch. Just search that in the search bar on Facebook, and it'll come up, and you get to see some of the bucks he has. We're still excited to be here. The hunt's half over. This is Wednesday. We have till Friday, and we had some opportunities. We had a couple of opportunities today. We're gonna stay after friends of wild places from Kansas. Stay with us. Day 4 of our 5-day hunt in Kansas. It's what a difference a day and a hot doe makes.
Yeah, and a fresh shave apparently.
It was just crazy in here yesterday. We saw 13 different bucks, 5 shooters, and this morning we've seen a couple little bucks and some does. But Adam Fox, he's hunting a property a couple miles from here in a really nice little spot. So throw you over to him. We'll see how he's doing. Stay with Friends of Wild Places.
big buck reactor out. Big buck, probably good 2-year-old. How he reacted to that camera. Those things are smart. Put his nose right. I touched that camera this morning and he's gave it one of those. So they're on the move. Could be the day. Could be the day. So it's just getting to be about 4 o'clock. That really freaking sucked. One of the things about self-filming is you gotta be ready for the camera to really screw you at some point. And it really did right there. It's not the first time, I'm sure it won't be the last. It's probably 140-inch 8-point, 12, 13-inch 2s and 3s.
So one of the things about self-filming, yeah, you do sacrifice a lot. You know, all the weight you're carrying in, just the time it takes to set up, and just how hard it really is to get a deer in the center of your screen, draw your bow. Everything has to come together. It's really tough. And I was dropping calls out of the stand. These deer were just like, what the heck is this guy doing? So it was frustrating, but at the same time, I was seeing good bucks. It was exciting. The deer were moving. You just couldn't ask for a better atmosphere and a better place to hunt whitetail.
Well, that's why the big ones are big. He slipped in on us. Bobby and I, neither one heard him. He came right in behind us and he was on us before we could move. I slowly grabbed the bow and I ended up getting the full draw right as he was walking away. He pinned us, but he came in. I'm just disgusted and sick to my stomach. That was a monster buck. Jay Steffen at the Steffen Ranch will put you on big bucks. Let me tell you, the last 2 days have been absolutely incredible. And there was another close encounter. He was 12 yards. I needed him to take about 2 more steps. He had been broadside at 12 yards.
Well, after 2 days in that particular stand, I know we saw 22 different bucks and 7 or 8 shooters. I needed a change of scenery.
Change of scenery, Hibby. I'd be declaring residency in that tree stand. What?
So LJ Hugler hops into the stand I was in for 2 days. I don't know, he was in there probably an hour, and ended up taking that big 10 point that I had a couple of encounters with. I ain't real happy about it. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, LJ. Nobody was happier for you than I was, and you know, hey, my fault for needing to change the scenery, but I certainly was happy Mr. Hugler was able to harvest that deer. Great deer, great ranch, great hunt in Kansas. You know, to be able to share with Adam Fox and LJ and Bobby Spangler, we just had a magnificent time at the Steffen Ranch.
Well, it's getting down to the wire. Hibby and I both decided that the last day we were going to hunt on the same farm, well, the evening we were going to hunt on the same farm. So Hibby was on one side, I was on the other, and this farm is probably about 2 square miles. And Jay had put me in one of his best stands, one of his personal stands. It was just a great spot. Had a lot of action for 2 days. I was actually in there. We got an hour left of daylight, and the very first buck that we saw that was a shooter on the very first evening ended up showing up the last hour of the last evening of the hunt.
We're in Kansas at the Steffen Ranch, and I just drilled a giant. He was at 38 yards. I put my 30 on him, but he ducked. Spawn or something, I just hit him high. He headed right towards Hibby. So Hibby, hopefully if he walks by Hibby, Hibby can get an arrow in him. Man, he was a giant. Oh my God.
Well, the shot wasn't great. This deer was far enough away where he was able to spin, duck. You know, these animals are just incredible. Once you get past 30 yards, it's a different ball game. And you know, sometimes you miss your mark. A week later, Jay Steffen sent me a trail cam picture of this buck, and it already looked like the wound was healing. But Jay was able to harvest them a day after that. So it was about 8 days after I had put an arrow in this deer that Jay had been out in the stand, and he ended up putting this deer down. The Steffen Ranch in Kansas was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had in the whitetail woods. I got to share it with some of my best friends, Tommy Hibbert, Bobby Spangler, LJ Hugler, spend some time in a great lodge, meet some new people, some people that knew a lot about deer, that spoke the same language as us. It was just an incredible experience. And if you ever want to go to the Steffen Ranch, all you got to do is call Jay, call this number, look him up on Facebook. You can check out the ranch, check out the success stories. Do yourself a favor, if you're a whitetail hunter and you've never been to the Midwest and you've never been to Kansas, at least one time in your life, you need to go out there to experience what a true whitetail rut is. Because after the grind of the Pennsylvania season, the Ohio season, the New York season, whatever state you live in, the New Jersey season, if you're a Northeasterner or you're a Southerner, whatever that type of grind is, the coolest experience in the world is Kansas. Tombob Outdoors, Friends of Wild Places. Thanks for joining us.